time to do what I want to do today, but we're going to talk, generally speaking, about habits. There's a little saying that I use wherever I go, and I want to introduce that to Imbizo. So, and it goes like this. What does that say? You gotta wanna. Let's hear it. You gotta wanna. If you don't wanna, you ain't gonna happen. Okay. You gotta wanna. Whatever I do, you gotta wanna do it. I can't make you do it. I can share with you information. I can give you tools. I can stand here and rant and rave and project and whatever I need to do. But unless you wanna, it ain't gonna happen. So I know that some of you will, and I know some of you won't. And that's also okay. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. So today we're going to talk about habits. How many of you want to break some habits?
Bad one.
Clearly, we've got good habits that sustain us and make us productive and make us influential human beings. But we also have some habits that really stand in the way of progress. So let's think about on a business aspect, and I'm going to show you how to break a habit. Because there's an important thing you need to know. On the outside you have a how. Sorry, on the outside you have a what. Okay, what is it that you want to change? The next part is how do you change that? And the next part is why do you change that? And that's the sequence of change. You've got to know what to change specifically for you. You've then got to have the tools on how to change it. And quite often that's where the slip-up comes. But the biggest problem we have, folks, is that we seldom identify the why. Why do I need to change? So my question to you as you consider what I'm going to share with you this morning is why do you need to change the habit that you've got in your mind right now? Why is that a problem? And if you don't know the why, knowing your why is the greatest self-motivator you'll ever have. The greatest self-motivator you'll ever have is knowing why. I know why I'm here today. I know why I'm going to Pretoria after this meeting for another meeting. I know exactly why I'm doing that. Not just because it's an appointment. I'm talking about deep why. The anxiety that I feel here today is my motivation for why I'm going to Pretoria. The burn, the feel that I have here. And you cannot take that away from me. It's passion. So when we talk about habits, why do you want to change the habit? And you need to sit down. You're not going to solve that here. You need to peel the onion. And you know, sometimes when you peel an onion, you cry. And I'm being serious when I say that. Sometimes you peel the onion and finding out what's really deep inside you can be hurtful. Because every one of us have something from our past that is contributing to the habits that we play out in our lives today. Every one of us. And I encourage you with all the sincerity in my heart that you peel the onion and find out what it is that's lying deep inside you as to why you do the things that you do and why you would like to change them. Okay, so what are some of our networking habits, our business habits that we would like to change? Time management. There's no such thing as time management. Those of you that know me, what is it called? It's not time management, it is. If we've all got 24 hours in a day, what makes one person more successful than another? Management of priorities. So it's priority management. It's how you use it's how you put those priorities into your 24-hour slot. Okay, don't think people are more successful because they've got more time. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Another one, good one, but remember that, okay? It's about priorities. What I'm doing today in sharing a habit, breaking habits, is a priority. It should be a priority. I'm working on habits. That's why I wear these behavioral change bands. You know. It's for that reason. Okay, so I'm working on a habit, something that I want to change. If you're interested in those, we can talk about them. Okay, so what else is another habit? Sorry? Peter's a habit, sorry.
Marie says those bands really work, and I said I can see that.
Yeah, no, they do. They just make you aware. I'll show you how that works. Come on, let's some of the habits. Procrastination. Okay, read the book by Brian Tracy called Find a letter in the alphabet that fits in there somewhere. Okay, procrastination. All right, Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. Buy the book. Brilliant on procrastination. Francois.
Something else that I picked up as well, it's not about me, it's about you.
Okay, so the habit is to look outside of self. Is that right? Is that what you're saying? Is like what we're trying to do here. If we're looking to serve, you know, it's what you know, you can't reap before you sow. And so what we're doing here is we're sowing. And we need to be in the habit of sowing and just being great at sowing. And how do we nurture that? We nurture that by doing one-on-ones. So I don't just meet Tammy today and that's it. Because maybe I've sown the seed, but you know, tomorrow it's going to be fraught because she hasn't heard from me, we haven't had a cup of coffee together, we haven't taken us to the next level, meeting her husband Yako, so that's how you nurture the seed. So you've got to go one step further. Now these are habits, these are some, talking to people, opening our mouths, inviting people, taking a business card. We've got them printed for you, compliments of Minuteman Krugersdorp, an invitation to Imbizo. This is the greatest networking meeting on the West Rand.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Yes.
We got more people here. Every week every month we got new people coming. It's the greatest networking meeting around. It's different, and it's up to you to make it work. So we got to break these habits. Okay. So in the little bit of time that I've got left, how do we break whatever habit you have? All right. And this is not my genius. This comes from, it's called the Myron Tribus Competency Matrix, and she came up with this thing. Some of you may have seen this years ago, but basically, we work on two levels. We work on a conscious or awareness. I always wanted to be a doctor, and all I got was the handwriting, so forgive me. Conscious awareness level, and we work on a competence level. And we have zero competence or less competence, and we have high levels of competence. We have low levels of consciousness, awareness, and we have high levels of consciousness, awareness. So I'm going to use my favorite analogy. When you were born, you did not know how to drive a motor vehicle. Okay? So you were unconsciously incompetent. Unconsciously incompetent. Yeah? As you grew older, so you saw your folks, you realized that people drive motor cars, that there are people close to you that drive motor cars. It may be a nice thing to do one day. Hell, I'd love to drive a car. Some kids tried at 13, because they're eager to get there, you know, they want the license, all right. So we become conscious, but we're still incompetent. So these are your habits. Your habits started somewhere here. Unconsciously. Some of you remember the video I showed you some months ago about the subconscious mind and what's going into the subconscious mind up until about the age of 7, 6, somewhere around there. Okay? And then we start to play that out as we get older. We start to play those things out in our lives, in our behavior. So at the end we become consciously incompetent. We want to drive, we can go and drive, whatever, but we don't know how. And then you'll all remember, a fantastic day, where you became consciously competent of driving a motor vehicle. You remember that day. You remember how you sat with your hand on the steering wheel, a 10 to 2 position. You knew what to do, man. You were in control of this automobile. You knew what was underneath it, on top of it, to the side of it, 5 miles ahead, 5 miles behind. You knew, because you were living on the rearview mirror. You did that whole owl thing, you know, you could turn your head around 360 degrees. You knew. You got your robot turned amber. You were 300 meters from it, and you would boom, 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 boom. Stop. And then what do you do at the robot? It's handbrake, neutral, check what's going on. Everything. Nobody must be close to your car. Within 3 meters, you start throwing your toys out the car. What are you doing? Freaking idiot. Don't you know how to drive? That's the way we are. And then the robot turns green. And then it is gear, handbrake, before you go anywhere, and off you go. How many of you drove the other day and knew when you put your indicator on every time you made a turn? Just happened, didn't it? How many of you remember all your behavior all the way the other day behind that steering wheel of a motor car? Seldom. We remember anything of what going. We just go, we arrive and think, how the hell did I ditch it? Because we've been thinking, am I right? We're just working in this Unconscious competence. You just do because you're so good at it, you've been doing it for so long, you're unconsciously competent of driving your motor vehicle. And that is the home of habit. Getting in your motor car and driving your car, folks, is a habit. You don't sit there, get in your car now, and think, okay, K50, whatever it's called. In fact, we do it all other way around, upside down sometimes. Sometimes we don't even do it. You know, on the cell phone, feet up on the dashboard, chick in your arm, cup of coffee, cigarette, cell phones, all the time. And we're just doing that. We become very, very, very good at that. High risk, by the way. High risk. Some of our habits are high risk. They break relationships. They don't make us successful as business people. They make us dangerous drivers. They make us dangerous husbands and wives. Because we have habits and we see people. We hear it every day in the history of this country, in the news, of people who've got disgusting habits as far as their relationships are concerned, and how they treat people and how they treat children. So this is a serious thing as well. And Peter mentioned, I talked to you about how we can make this impact in our lives. Help people understand that they need to become more conscious of what they're doing. So when I do something wrong that has to do with a habit I'm trying to break, I give myself a warning. By the end of the day, I am made aware of the fact that my wrist is burning like hell. And the chances are, if I wanna, is I can stop the habit. But it's a process. So tomorrow I may do it less, but I may still do it. So they get a flick. But in a week's time, I may be doing it, I may be during a habit, remember that I'm doing the habit. I'm behaving like I say, oh, let me stop that. And then after a while, it becomes after the fact. Sorry, before the fact. So you say, oh, hang on, I'm not going to do that. And that's the way you break habits. I hope that this can help you. Become business people of influence. Make this network of Imbizo really successful. Invite people here. We share. We've got good muffins. I mean, I don't know where else you can get as good a muffin as you get outside there. And fruit kebabs and stuff. And then good people like us. That's what this is about. That's what gives us a kick. Look forward to the first Friday of every month. Make sure your flight's on time. And get here. Okay, that's a habit. Folks, God bless you. Make this happen. But you gotta? Thank you.